Welcome everyone to Breakthrough Leadership. I'm Matt DeYoung.
And I'm Greg Yates. We're here to talk about unlocking your purpose, living with passion, and becoming the leader you were created to be.
Yeah, it's so good. And today in our vlog episode number 23, we're going to talk about why your why is your destiny. Your why is your destiny. So this is going to be a really good topic. And it's going to be at the personal level today. And I want to say, Greg, one thing that I've noticed when I was consulting with clients, I got to sort of watch businesses as they did certain things. And I noticed that entrepreneurs would often kind of repeat in this loop. So they come up with a great idea, they would do it for a while, and then they would sort of forget why they did it and start to throw the baby out with the bathwater, a good thing that was in motion, but just sort of under-optimized. And it came from forgetting why they did it. They went in a circle instead of forward. Yeah. Do you think this is kind of common?
Well, I think it's common. I used to always say, Matt, I could take anything fun and turn it into work. And somehow we managed to take these passionate, big whys, why we're doing something, and we turn them into something that almost becomes irritating to us because they just become another job.
Yeah, and we forget why we're doing it. And have you ever had anybody ask you why you're doing something that you're doing?
You know, Vicky, my wife's favorite things, and she was sincere about it. She would ask me, we're getting ready to buy another piece of property or buy another business, because I went through a period of time, a couple of decades, Matt, where part of my interest level was acquiring other businesses. You know, I wasn't big on investing in the stock market and everything else. I wanted to buy businesses that were for me, and she would say, why are we doing this? It just irritated me. Irritated me because I didn't know the answer. I'd say, well, because if I don't do more and build more and grow more, then I didn't have any definitions for satisfaction in my life other than just more. And I got to tell you, I learned really big that money is not a very good why.
Mm-hmm. It's a good result. Profitable businesses are good, but that's, like you're saying, we can't put that in the why bucket. And so I think today what we're going to talk about is some things that you'll need to forget in order really to have breakthrough. And you'll explain at the end, I know, Greg. But the first thing there's three things you need to forget. And the first thing that you need to forget is to forget the expectation of others. Why would forgetting other people's expectations be important to my why?
Well, I mean, you know, we can fail, Matt, right in the middle of all our successes.
Yeah.
I mean, we can be succeeding on everybody else's platform and be a failure in our own life, our own satisfaction, and everything else. And the reason we got to forget the expectation of others is because if our sense of success is built on what other people have called success or satisfaction, then we'll never develop our own criteria for what is going to be satisfaction for us. And that sounds small, because if you're struggling for finances, a lot of times you just think, well, if I had that, everything else will fall into place. If you've been beyond that, even if not now, even if at some other time, then you know what I'm saying is true. Basing your success on what somebody else calls success is never going to create the passion, the purpose for your destiny.
And one of the things that we've talked about before is, you know, as there's levels of success, there's more expectations. So it just sort of snowballs. We don't want that.
Oh, yeah.
The next thing is we want to forget the expectation of others, but then the next thing is we want to forget the assumptions of others. You're asserting here that somehow we're just buying into other people's assumptions.
Oh, my goodness. You know, I've had so many times in my life, and right now is one of them, Matt, where people assume that they're making assumptions about why you and I are doing this platform. Mm-hmm. They're making assumptions about why we're talking about leadership. And guess what? If you build your own assumptions for life and quit depending on the assumptions of others, you might actually have a few haters. You might have people who don't agree with you and who expect you to live up to their assumptions.
Yeah. Well, it's easy not to have haters if you're just living up to those assumptions. And you know my feeling on this. You're doing it right if you have a few people.
You got a few people who
disagree with you.
Yeah, then you're probably doing it right.
Yeah.
So you got to give up on that. Forget about the assumptions of other people.
Right. Forget about expectations of others, assumptions of others, and then the final thing is to forget about the validation of others. Now, this one, you might really be speaking to the choir here.
Yeah. Wow. I've had You know, Matt, you've read, you know me. Anybody who's read my book knows that was a big part of the challenge that I've faced in the entire idea of brokenness to breakthrough. Right. And that was the idea that I was living up to be validated by other people, which means that I was consumed by their why, or even their lack of having a why was driving me to my performance, to my destiny, more than even seeking the validation of God.
Yeah.
It's a terrible thing.
And it's easy to, and you've identified this in your book, and we have lots of videos about this topic, but it's easy at some point to be, not that you designed it this way, but realizing after the fact that I'm holding up other people's expectations. I'm holding up their assumptions. I'm holding up the validation. And then at the end, you're holding everything up, and it depends on you.
Well, and what's the first moment of awareness of success for a lot of business people? It's when somebody else tells you, wow, you're so successful. And you're like, I am? Or you're thinking to yourself, why do they call me successful? Well, guess what? The reasons people will say you're successful are because you have influence, you have power, and you have money. Those are the three big things that people will deem in their eyes that you're successful. And I got to tell you, Matt, that's not a very good definition of success.
And what if you wake up and it's not your why? That's what we're trying to bring up today. So Greg, if people are saying, yeah, I need to forget some of these things, and they're really feeling challenged, and I want to say thank you for always being willing to be courageous and say some of the things that everyone's thinking, like working for validation, and just admitting that, because I think it opens a conversation. But how would you challenge people in this area?
Well, the biggest challenge that I would give you is the challenge I give myself every day, and that is to be certain that my actions are to fulfill the greatest why of my existence, never to meet the expectations of others. And when I say existence, I mean my highest created purpose.
Wow, this is powerful. Hopefully it's challenged you today. But what Greg and I are trying to do is open a conversation, and it can't be a conversation if we're just talking. So we need comments from you as well. And here would be the comment I'd ask you to put on our YouTube channel underneath this video or on our blog, which is, what percentage of your day right now do you feel like your actions are lining up with your why? Is it 5%, 50%, 99%? That would be great. But let us know where you are today.
You know, Matt, we have a lot of great conversations, as you know, over on our website, morethanbreakthrough.com. I hope you'll join us there as well.
And while you're there, we'd love it if you would become an email subscriber if you're not already. That allows Greg and I to send you free leadership resources you can't find anywhere else.
Remember, you can do this. You can live with passion and partner with the people, we hope to be those partners as well, that will help you live with passion and help you become the person you were created to be. I hope this lesson gives you a little bit of traction toward your breakthrough.